Okay, so if you haven't heard, the upcoming season of the reality show Bachelorette got canned. They're not going to air the premiere. Why? Well, because the lady that was going to be the quote unquote Bachelorette, Taylor Frankie Paul, she got ousted as a domestic abuser. Actually, she wasn't ousted. That information's been out there for a while. The incident took place in 2023, and she was actually even arrested on the show The Secret Life of Mormon Wives, another show I've not watched. Doesn't interest me. Doesn't, in fact, neither does Bachelorette. But anyway, she got arrested for that. Like I said, she was convicted. She had pled guilty, and her parole still ongoing until August. But ABC was apparently still going to air it in spite of that. But why did they change their minds? Well, because the video that her then boyfriend took of the actual abuse incident taking place got put online just recently. People saw that, and now suddenly they decide they're going to can it. And I'll even provide a link to that in my comments. You can see it for yourself if you want to. I do warn you, it's pretty graphic. But basically, she was like yelling and pulling on her boyfriend. He was just telling her to stop, 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 and she just kept doing it. In fact, at a certain point, she literally starts picking up metal chairs and throwing them across the room at him. Yeah, and what's worse than about that is that it wasn't just him in the room. Her 5 year old, yes, 5 year old daughter was in the room there, and the boyfriend was even screaming, warning her that she was going to end up hitting the daughter. And unfortunately, eventually, one of the chairs did actually end up hitting the daughter. And of course, the daughter ended up crying. What do you expect? And you'd think a loving mother would snap out of whatever was going on through her head at that point and go help her daughter. No. She still kept yelling at the boyfriend, freaking out, and just even blaming him for the fact that the daughter got hurt. The poor little girl right there crying and screaming for mommy. Mommy didn't even seem to care because mommy was too busy hating on her boyfriend. And if you watch the video, there's also some interviews afterwards, and they talk to her, and it still seems to me like she's refusing to actually truly take responsibility for it. She's still trying to act like that boyfriend was somehow manipulated her, and she's even talking about like, oh, how convenient that it came out, or that video came out right now. I'm sure he's behind it, and look, he probably is. I wouldn't be surprised if it was him that got that out publicly because she probably figured he probably figured, excuse me, that people deserve to know what the heck is going on here. But I don't really blame him. I probably would have done the same thing. But at the end of the day, if you watch that video, I don't think anything he could have done justified that. She, of course, again, like I said, not trying to own up to her own mess ups here. She blames him and says that, oh, there's more to the story. And it's like, oh, I don't want to just look like the crazy woman here. But it's like, you know what? Even if there is some missing context, I mean, there is always two sides of the story. I cannot see anything in that video that is even remotely justified. Yeah, is it possible that he may have said something or done something to egg her on or something? Sure, you never know, but that response was in no way, shape, or form justified. If he had really done something serious enough to warrant that kind of reaction, she should have called the police or something or made him leave. I don't buy it. I think she really was just being the crazy little woman at the time. I don't know what's going on there, but I can't see any justification of that. I don't know how you possibly could, because people get mad at each other for valid reasons all the time. I'm married, and my wife and I have gotten mad at each other, but we never threw blunt objects at each other. That would be wrong. Even if your reason for being angry initially was justified, that is not 100%. And I'm not even going to, you can say whatever you want. There's no justification for that. I just want to know, why is it that it wasn't until the video came out that suddenly ABC has scruples about this? Suddenly, they're actually going to pretend like this is a problem. She was already convicted. Again, she had confessed to it. It wasn't just something that may or may not happen. There was rumors about it. And it wasn't like it was 1,000 years ago either. People try to say that, well, it was a long time ago. No, it was only 3 years ago. And again, if you watch that video, I still don't think she really took any responsibility for what she did. She's still trying to blame other people for it. But It's just wrong no matter how you look at it. And, you know, I don't want to get into a sexism thing here too much, but I think it is worth pointing out. Do you really think ABC would have been okay with airing The Bachelor if that bachelor had been convicted of domestic abuse in the past, that he did or may not have abused a previous girlfriend and a daughter or son in that case as well? I seriously doubt it. I mean, if any of them ever were, please let me know. I'd be curious to know that. And I'd also like to ask some of these similar questions, but this should not just be ignored. They never even should have considered her for that role after those incidents. But why is it that she can try to get away with that and that nobody's going to really, until it's called out, until these videos surface, they're suddenly going to act like they care about it? Because it seems to me if they really cared about it, they would have just said, sorry, we are not going to consider you as a possible candidate for this show because of those charges that happened not too long ago. I really don't understand that, how you can think that that's okay. Like I said, I'll give you the link to that. You can watch that if you want and decide how you feel about it. But let's just face it, domestic abuse is wrong. Okay, it has no bearing on the fact that this was the woman attacking the man. I don't care what he did. Again, he may not be 100% innocent in that situation. She was claiming there's more to the story, but her response, as I said before, is wrong. No matter how you look at it, there is no justification for that. None whatsoever. And another thing I'd like to add to that, too. If there truly is more to the story, and if we apparently would know or would tend to side more with her if we knew the whole context, why doesn't she just come forward and tell us the quote-unquote whole story? I don't buy it. If she's not willing to come forward and do that, that still tells me she's hiding something. Yeah, maybe there are some things that would make him look at least partly guilty if we heard about them, but I think if she truly believed that revealing that whole story would essentially exonerate her, or at least mostly exonerate her, she would have no qualms about telling us what really happened. I think, in my opinion, if somebody says that to you, if somebody's been guilty of something and they're just like, oh, there's more to the story, but they refuse to tell you much of anything about what that other part is, that usually tells you that they know that at least some of that is not going to make them look innocent. That really, they probably know that if you heard that other side, you probably wouldn't change your opinion much. If anything, maybe you would even think less of this person claiming this. That's just my opinion, of course, but again, if I'm putting myself in those shoes, if there was more context that I thought would make people more side with me, I wouldn't have any qualms about telling them. Well, I guess you can decide for yourself, but it really does upset me that ABC only seems to care about this now that this video came out, even though we already knew this was going on. You know, it wasn't something that just got revealed. She had already been convicted. But I guess that's probably all I'm going to say for now, but just tell me what you think about it.